We take you live now to Downsview Airport for an update on the new provincial air support for Toronto Police. Solicitor General Michael Kersner is speaking.
My own constituency, a place that my family and I proudly call home. And for me, there is nothing more important than the concerns of my constituents. And that's why we're here today. Public safety matters to them, it matters to me, and it matters a lot to our Premier, Doug Ford. I'd like to welcome Associate Minister Graham McGregor here, my friend MPP Parliamentary Assistant Dave Smith, the Deputy Solicitor General Mario Di Tommaso, the Vice Chair of Toronto's Police Service Board Lisa Kostakis, Chief Demkew, the command leaders and the Deputy Commissioner of the OPP, and everyone who's here today. We're also very, very fortunate to have representatives from the Toronto Police Association, and I'd like to again congratulate Clayton Campbell as its newest president. I'm excited, both as Solicitor General and as the local MPP, to talk about why helicopters are important for our public safety. Another example of our government's commitment to be absolutely relentless when it comes to keeping our communities safe. And our government, under the leadership of Premier Ford, will always prioritize public safety. People I talk to across the province are concerned about crime in their communities. And they know, as I've said before, some things have to matter. The rule of law must matter. And they know it is completely unacceptable to be confronted in the middle of the night with someone staring down their front door, knocking it in, and demanding the keys to their car. No one should ever be victimized like this. And that's why our government has taken a very strong stand against crime, and especially when it comes to auto theft. Everyone wants to make sure that their inherent right to live safely in their communities is protected, and nothing is more important than the right to live exactly where we are. To wake up our kids in the morning, to check in on our seniors, to go to work safely, to shop safely, and to be able to pray safely. We will never apologize for prioritizing our public safety. Our heroic police officers, like the fine men and women from Toronto Police Service, are tackling crime and making our communities safer every day. And I have seen this firsthand. Just earlier this week, when I was at the Ontario Police College, I had a chance to sit in the classes and visit our newest recruits from Toronto Police Service, and I look forward to their graduation in mid-December. Our government will always support law enforcement with the best tools to protect our rights to live safely in our communities, and that's why we're here today. Helicopters have a long history in law enforcement. Police have used aircrafts to combat crime since the 1920s. And today, there are over 2,000 law enforcement helicopters patrolling the skies over North American cities. Many people have always assumed that Toronto had at least one helicopter, even when we have none. And as far back as 2000, almost 87% of Torontonians thought that we should have a helicopter. And that's why our government, led by Premier Ford, came forward with an ambitious plan to provide an unparalleled resource of support so that our communities will always be safe. Earlier this June, the Associate Minister and I were with the Premier when we announced the purchase of helicopters for Toronto, for Ottawa, for Durham, for Halton, and for Peel. But we recognize that crime doesn't just stop at municipal borders, and our government agrees with this. And that's why the Joint Air Support Unit, the investment by our government of over $134 million over 3 years to help police services acquire these 5 new helicopters for use around the GTA and Ottawa region, is so important. You know, police helicopters give officers eyes in the sky. They see things that the ground can't, that those on the ground can't. And helicopters cover more geographically, you know, cars that could be stolen, and offer wider surveillance and relay critical information to ground units during an emergency or criminal pursuit. And we know the areas of Toronto are so densely populated. This helicopter will provide that amazing support to help the ground forces get these people who think it's okay to steal our cars, and we know it's not. Because the ground people, our police officers, will arrive at the crime scenes that much faster. And that is the case with downtown Toronto and everywhere in Toronto that's so densely populated. I'm proud that this new twin-engine Airbus helicopter 135 that's behind us, this type of helicopter which will be owned and operated by the OPP and operated on behalf of Toronto Police Service. The H-135 is a law enforcement workhorse, carrying out its tasks day and night. It's a helicopter that the OPP have experience with. It's deployed by federal, regional, and municipal police services around the world, including right here in our own backyard by the OPP. And it will be equipped with the latest crime prevention and investigation technology, including thermal imaging, which will help locate suspects from a safe distance. And I might also add, assist in search and rescue. One of the key missions of the Joint Air Support Unit will be to combat auto theft, a criminal activity that is putting millions of dollars in the pockets of organized crime, making communities feel less safe. And I'm so delighted that the Premier asked my colleague and great friend, Minister Graham McGregor, to tackle this with a laser-focused approach. Our police services, with the support of our government, are making inroads in the fight of auto theft. And we're fighting it very hard. And we will continue to support law enforcement to make sure that the autos that are being stolen are the numbers of autos that are being stolen are falling every day. We want to make sure that people's vehicles aren't stolen. We want to make sure that we have a plan to combat organized crime. And most importantly, we need to have Toronto, the engine that helps drive Ontario, safe. We know a safe Ontario. The Joint Air Support Unit will be an invaluable tool to stop criminals in their tracks and continue to keep our neighborhoods, our roads, and our highways safe. The Toronto Police and law enforcement across Ontario are doing an incredible job. Chief, I want to thank you and your command leaders for the amazing work that they're doing. And I know our Deputy Solicitor General, who's with us today, Mario Di Tommaso, and I will always have the backs of everyone, especially in Toronto Police Service, that keeps Ontario safe and Toronto safe. Morning, noon, and night, our government, led by Premier Ford, will prioritize our public safety. Our priority is intentional. Our commitment will always be absolute and constant. Thank you, merci beaucoup, and miigwech. It's my pleasure to call our Chief of Police, Myron Demkiw.
Thank you, Minister. Hello, everyone, and thank you all for being here today on this great occasion. I do want to begin by thanking the Ontario government and, of course, the Honourable Solicitor General Michael Kerzner for this much-needed air support to keep our city safe. Policing our great city is complex, and it is always dynamic. The new GTA Air Support Unit will benefit Toronto residents at no cost to the city. The Air Support Unit adds a dynamic new tool for the Toronto Police to be able to respond to various circumstances that are often dangerous and very unpredictable. I think about high-speed pursuits, dynamic gun calls, large crowd management, and missing vulnerable persons. These are just a few examples where having a helicopter will help us keep Toronto safe. Our communities have spoken to me about the importance of the Toronto Police having the necessary tools, including air support from a helicopter. This joint air support program with the Ontario Provincial Police gives the Toronto Police Service new capability to respond to the dynamic and growing needs of our city. The technology packed into these helicopters is cutting edge, and it integrates with our remotely piloted aircraft system. RPAS, more commonly known as drones, are a very cost-effective tool for us, but they have limited range, as they can only fly as far as the operator can see. They cannot track a speeding, stolen vehicle racing through our streets. That is where air support in the form of a helicopter comes in. Helicopters offer us greater speed, range, and endurance to track suspects. They also send a clear message to violent criminals who think they won't get caught. Of course, helicopters will only be deployed when it makes sense to do so. Air support operations will be prioritized to intelligence-led responses to serious events such as violent crimes and missing persons or other emergencies. The onboard tactical flight officer will be a Toronto police officer who will track suspects and direct ground units to make arrests while minimizing danger to the public and our officers. A helicopter will help us get even more guns and criminals who use them off our streets. A helicopter will help us apprehend those who are breaking into homes and stealing cars. A helicopter will help us find missing and vulnerable persons. In short, a helicopter will help us fight crime in our city and will save lives. Once the new Airbus helicopter is delivered, the Government of Ontario will fund 5 net new Toronto Police Service positions that will serve as tactical flight officers. I want to thank the Government of Ontario for this support. Toronto is in the unique position that while we wait for delivery of the new helicopter, the Ontario Provincial Police is providing the Toronto Police Service use of existing helicopters by funding extra flight time to assist us. This is, of course, very much appreciated. I want to use this opportunity to especially thank the Ontario Provincial Police for their support on October 7th, when they sent a helicopter and provided air support as we managed multiple sites, attended by thousands. I want to acknowledge Deputy Commissioner of the Ontario Provincial Police, Rohan Thomas, and Chief Superintendent Dana Early for your ongoing commitment to collaborating with us. Thank you both for being here with us today. I'd also like to thank and acknowledge Councillor Pasternak, Councillor and Police Service Board member Lily Chang, and Vice Chair of the Police Service Board, Lisa Kostakis, for joining us today. On behalf of all of our members, I want to thank the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford, the Honourable Solicitor General Michael Kersner, and the Honourable Associate Minister Graham McGregor, and Member of Provincial Parliament Dave Smith for your continued support in expediting this initiative. On behalf of every member of the Toronto Police Service, we appreciate your unwavering commitment. Thank you, and I'm now happy to pass it over to Associate Minister of Auto Theft and Bail Reform, the Honourable Graham McGregor.
Thanks. Good morning. Thank you, Chief, for that. It's good to be here with my provincial government colleagues alongside Solicitor General Kersner and MPP Smith. With the Chief, we've got representatives from Toronto Police Association. Congratulations to the new President, Clayton Campbell. And Lisa Kostakis, the Vice Chair of the Police Board. I'd like to thank each of you for your hard work and the hard work for all the officers you represent. The Toronto Police Service does extraordinary work.
We've been listening to a press conference happening at Downsview Airport. We just heard from Chief Myron Demkew alongside Solicitor General Michael Kersner, and it's all about the new provincial air support being announced for Toronto Police. We're seeing some pictures of the new helicopter.